I'm Sandy Charles. Welcome into another edition of AZ Audibles. I'm joined by Devin Henry and Eric Sorensen. Guys, it's a sad time. Arizona high school football is over, but so much to talk about. First off, we're going to start player that stood out during the season. Devin, let's start with you.
Well, I just love athletes who are able to play both sides of the line consistently well, and as someone who I was able to watch do that all year long, Jason Curcell. He was so dominant as a third down or a third and short back, or even just anywhere being a running back, but then also defensively really helped leading that Liberty defense this year. I was just really impressed by how talented he was, both offensively and defensively, on a team that would end up winning it all in 6A.
It's pretty rare. Curso scored a touchdown in the championship game and had probably a half dozen tackles in the first quarter. He set the tempo for the Lions. I'm going to stay on the West Valley. Logan Ging out at Verrado, running back, was a junior this past year, burst on the scene. He had over 1,400 yards, about 20 touchdowns. He was named a captain. Really strong in the weight room. Good student as well. He's going to have a really big senior season for the Vipers.
Are we all doing West Side schools?
Yes.
Woo! I did Ironwood as well. Yes, I did Ironwood as well as, and I mean, on the West Side. Quarterback Will Haskell, super impressed with him on the field, but not only on the field. As I was sidelining, seeing him on the sidelines and pump up his team and being a leader, super impressed with him, and I'm excited to watch him next year. They wouldn't be athletes without these coaches, so coach said impressed.
What more can you say about Dennis Benet? He's now the outgoing former coach at Tucson Salpointe. He played quarterback for the Lancers and then just went on to go 184-44 as the varsity head coach. He won a state championship in 2013. You talk about Cam Denson and Bijan Robinson and Lathan Ransom and all the other great players that have come through the program. They always go back to the impact that Coach Benet made, not just on the field, but off it as well. Honorary mention, I got to throw some love to Jake Barrow down at Casa Grande. The Cougars made a great run in the playoffs. Mike Peterson at Red Mountain, they took Liberty to the wire, as well as Ty Wisdom at Horizon. Jake Martinelli, if he would not have gotten hurt, could have been a different outcome, but really good year for the Huskies.
Agree with that, definitely.
I'm going down to a non-4A, 5A, 6A, well, soon to be 4A, but head coach David Innes over at Northwest Christian.
That guy knows how to win.
He knows how to win. His love for football, his love for coaching, his love for life, his love for faith. It's just, he's so much fun to talk to. And then how he's built up a small program like that, a school where you don't get transfers, small enrollment. Did extremely well at 3A, won the state championship in 2018. Going to be an interesting battle for them. They're probably going to be in the West Valley region in 4A next year, so that'll be extremely interesting how the Crusaders do next year.
All great candidates and coaches that you guys just mentioned. This was tough. This was hard. And my first year being on the sidelines and garnishing relationships with these coaches, this was really tough. Thank you to all the coaches that let me cover your teams. But Millennium's head coach, Lamar Early, I love what he did on the field. I love what he was doing off the field. There were a couple of times on the sidelines I saw his players lowering their heads, and he was the one to pump them up. And it was so great to see the culture that he's building there. You know, his son is the quarterback, and so leading this team, and I'm excited to see what they do next year. So now that brings us to favorite moment of the season. This one was tough, and let's start with you, Devin.
It's rare to see a double overtime game, although I say that, and we had quite a few fantastic overtime games this year, but mine goes to the Mountain Ridge Mountain Lions, Coach Doug Madosky. What, not just that program, but what that community has built. They were 16 straight losses coming into this year. They ended the year 5-5 and made a trip to the 6A playoffs. But their win against Liberty in double overtime, where Kyler Stancato and Keegan Stancato, two twins, Division I baseball commits, dominated as quarterback and wide receiver, and a game-winning touchdown based on the defense coming up with a turnover in double overtime. Just a spectacular finish for the Mountain Lions in that game, which would be their final win of the year.
You know you can coach when you can make that seamless transition from being a junior college coach to a high school coach. He did a great job. No real moment for me. I'm just going to encapsulate it with one game. Hamilton, Chandler, November 1st. I said at the time it was the greatest high school football game I had seen to that point, and I'm staying by that. The best thing about that game was the best players played their best. When you're talking about the Nick Arvays, you're talking about the Brendan Rices, you're talking about the Brady Shucks. On the other side, Mikey Keene, Day Hunter, you can go down the line. Brandon Buckner defensively. Hamilton's back. We're all in agreement on that.
They are back.
But
I want to say I did say that at the beginning of this season.
You did. You did.
But they are back.
But
I
I
agree.
think that was the game, at least to me,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, they went head-to-head with the Alpha, and they had a chance to win. It came down to the last play. Chandler holds on, and I think Chandler got the wake-up call that they needed going into the
Yep.
Open 8, and just an incredible game.
I'm going to piggyback off of yours because it was at a Chandler game that was my favorite moment, but it was South Point Catholic, and of course it's running back Bijan Robinson. My jaw dropped on this play. He one-hand grabs back through the air, kind of OBJ style, but way more impressive. You guys, I was sidelining and I couldn't even talk because of this play. He's so dynamic, explosive. He makes big plays when he's needed. I know that we talked about Bijan all year long, but that was the moment for me. I was like, holy cow, this moment, that is incredible. So much more we could talk about, you guys. This was such a fun season. Again, thank you to the coaches and the players this whole year, and to you guys, because this is fun. Every week we get to talk
and it's
football.
not over. I mean,
No.
the season is technically over,
But we
but
have
high school
so
football
much.
in this state never ends.
No.
Each week. And you can keep it right here at Sports 360 AZ for more Arizona Audibles. But for more, you can go to sports360az.com and read and listen to all of it. We'll see you next week.